Welcome, everybody, to another edition of The Table Spot. My name is Metal Mike, and I'm joined here, as always, with the man with the best beard in the business. He is my co-host here every Monday night and the lead host over on the Boom every Wednesday night after AEW Dynamite. Mr. Cam G. Cam, how you doing on this wonderful Monday night?
I'm hanging in there, man. Felt like this was a long weekend. To get to Monday night, I thought we had a pretty decent show tonight. I'm right here, ready to get into some Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, it was a pretty long weekend. It felt pretty long. Like Thursday felt like Friday. Friday kind of still just felt like Friday. Yeah. Then Saturday was Saturday. Sunday felt like Saturday, and Sunday felt like Sunday. And yeah, it was a pretty long weekend. It was a very long weekend, but it is Monday night, and we are here to talk about another episode of Monday Night Raw that took place out in Indianapolis, Indiana. And let's just get right into it. Cam, as I always ask you, what are you grading Raw tonight out in Indy?
I'm going to give it a C+.
Okay.
I thought tonight was a lot better than what they've been giving us the last couple of weeks. Perfect show, great show. Well, first of all, there's no such thing as a perfect show, but a great show. Nah, but it was okay. It was all right. The flow, I think, was a lot better. I think they did a better job with this show than they did with Chamber. Honestly, I mean, just the flip from Chamber to tonight, I think, was a lot better. So, crowd was better. Crowd was more engaged. They provided us with some things that kept us engaged, I think, for majority of the show. So, I don't really have too many complaints about tonight.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like you saying that kind of puts a light bulb up in the top of my head. Like, yeah, they really didn't do anything that didn't make you mind tonight. Like, you could tell they were trying to keep your attention, but they weren't like trying very hard. Like, they just did things and they hoped it stuck, and most of it, stuck. And they kept your attention just enough to tolerate what they did tonight. Now, were some things questionable? Yeah, they were, of course. Every night there's a questionable thing or two or 10 that happens on a show. But for the most part, the things that they did do, they kind of kept your attention, and it didn't piss you off too much. So
I mean, opposed to other Mondays, yeah.
Yeah, my God. And as far as the Chamber thing, yeah, this was definitely a much better, definitely a switch up from what we got Saturday. Like, Saturday wasn't a bad PLE, but I think the worst part of that PLE was that Chicago crowd was just not into it.
Not at all.
Like, the Indy crowd really tonight was really into everything that was going on.
Yeah.
Like, they were engaged. But Chicago's crowd, man, I mean, their biggest pop of the night. I seen a video from inside the arena, and the pop for Rhea winning was huge, big pop. The pop for Randy was kind of decent. The pop for AJ winning the Intercontinental Championship, pretty good. And CM Punk retaining the World Heavyweight title, pretty good. But then we get to Danhausen.
Oh Lord.
And we get from you just hear the yay, cheer, boo, and it's like, yeah. What happened from the time he came out of the casket to the middle of the ramp?
Yeah.
Like, y'all were cheering 10 seconds ago, like 5 footsteps ago, you guys were cheering, and now it's booing. Like, do you think everybody in that arena knew who Danhausen even was?
I mean, Chicago is a big wrestling city, so
that's true.
I would say that they did.
Yeah.
But, with so much hype around this crate, and you making people wait basically a month for this big reveal or whatever. And then it ends up being Danhausen. Now, I don't really have anything against Danhausen. I've never really been big on Danhausen per se. He's a comedy character. He's a joke character. He's comic relief, things like that.
Yeah.
In WWE, to me, I think him being in this position as opposed to being in AEW, I think he'll be used better in WWE than AEW. And I know that's contrary to popular belief, because a lot of people think that he's not going to be used properly. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, look at R-Truth, look at The Miz, look at any character they've used, the Mizdow character. Look at any characters they've used over the last 10, 15 years or more.
Yeah.
that I think they've relatively done, I guess, successful with, just their comedy, comic relief characters. So I think he fits in like a glove here. So, and to me, like I said, it would be a miss to not have him work and do things with R-Truth, who's been their comedy character for a long time now. So I'm looking forward to that, honestly. But like I said, I think the ceiling is really high for him just because, like I said, he can be used in any capacity, in any comedy role that they want to use him in. And the big thing for them is always his marketability. Is he going to move?
Yeah.
That's his big thing. And I think once his popularity starts to go up, because his debut wasn't the greatest, because a lot of people were just, dialed in on, okay, if they're going to spend this much time with this whole crate on SmackDown and Raw, this has to be a big reveal. The Rock, I'm hearing, and Chris Jericho and things like that, but those just didn't really fit. So with the whole thing that they did there, would have been fine. I would have probably have done it on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
As opposed to Chamber or whatever, because you just don't get those. You don't get your biggest or one of your biggest markets in Chicago in this arena on this night on that pay-per-view, and of course making them pay all this money for these tickets, and then you reveal it's Danhausen. It's like, that's not, to me, it's just not a big enough reveal. But hey, good for Danhausen. Like I said, congratulations to him for getting with WWE. And like I said, I definitely think they're going to be able to turn it around. I like what they did tonight with the backstage segment. Wasn't anything major, but that's his wheelhouse right there. It's just his comedy stuff backstage. So I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, let's stick around the Danhausen talk. I know this is kind of a weird way to start off talking about the show from tonight, but let's start off with the Danhausen talk since we're already there. Tonight, him and Adam Pearce had a backstage thing. And he had a list of demands. Number one was, a face on a truck. He wanted a Hall of Fame induction. He had this list of demands. And then Adam Pearce was like, why is the paper so messed up? Oh, because it was in the toilet. Like, okay, no, I need a drink. And he walks off. Adam Pearce is gone. And then the Judgment Day comes in as Dom's making his way to go have his match for the Intercontinental Championship. And he curses Dominic Mysterio. And the moment that happened, I messaged you and I said, Dom lost. That's it. This was probably one of the easiest ways to accept the fact that Dominic Mysterio was going to lose tonight was he got cursed by Danhausen. Yeah. And it was a good introduction for Danhausen on Monday Night Raw. Like, he had an interaction with the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio, the Intercontinental Champion. Oh, by the way, he's about to go out and defend the Intercontinental title. How can we make this, make sense, tolerable to the fact that he's going to go out and lose to Penta? Let's curse him. Let's just curse him. And if you think of it, Danhausen, he would fit in that AAA crowd a little bit. I mean, they got Mr. Iguana over there.
There you go.
And Danhausen made the reference of wanting to hold a championship right away. Like, Danhausen would fit great in that AAA crowd, if you really think about it. And let's say, for all extensive purposes, Dom gives him a AAA championship match. You can have Danhausen. If Danhausen were to win, Danhausen versus Mr. Iguana or any of the other characters over in AAA, like, he would fit. So him being in the WWE umbrella, I mean, all the grief that he's been facing over the weekend because of what happened in Chicago, it is kind of pointless, because you got to think about where he's going to fit moving forward. And you mentioned about R-Truth. How much longer is R-Truth going to go? Because R-Truth is up there in age. And has he considered retirement? We don't know. We don't know that whether that's a thing or not, whether he's considered retiring soon or not. But what do you got to do? You got to look for the future that's going to fit certain things that you do on your show. Like you said, R-Truth does the comedy thing. Well, what if one day R-Truth says, you know what? I'm hanging up the boots. That's it. Who are you going to put in there to fit what R-Truth does? You just brought in the guy in Danhausen to fit that role for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as much as his debut probably wasn't the greatest on TV with how the crowd reacted and everything like that, it fits long term. And you can do so much. He's an expendable character. You can do so much with him.
Yeah.
And there doesn't have to be any high expectations either. Because I know the first question is going to be, oh, well, what championship can he win? Who gives a shit? Who cares what championship he can win? He is going to entertain you. If we have a bad show, you know you could count on Danhausen to entertain you for 5 minutes and make you think maybe this wasn't as bad as a show. Even though the show may have sucked, Danhausen could change your mind on that, just the way he was for that 5 minutes. R-Truth has done it a couple times. Remember when Raw was 3 hours?
I try to forget. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry for bringing this up, but you remember when Raw was 3 hours on USA, and we've had many of bad shows on USA, many of bad shows on USA. But then you had an R-Truth segment. It's like, okay, this night ain't too bad. R-Truth kind of lightened the mood a little bit. He's done that. Yes. You just brought in the guy who's going to be able to do that for the next 10 years. If R-Truth were to say, hey, in 2026, 2027, I'm just going to go focus solely on my music career and I'm done with wrestling. And not only that, now that you have your deal with AAA, he can go to TNA. He can go down to NXT. I mean, Danhausen's one of those characters where he literally, at the end of this segment, just disappeared out of nowhere. Saturday night, just disappeared out of the ring out of nowhere. He could disappear from one show and be on the next show the next night and just appear, then disappear and be somewhere else. Just like that. He's an expendable character.
Yeah.
Make things work. And tonight worked for him. Tonight should have been his debut. They could have kicked off Monday Night Raw tonight with that. And then they could have had a little bit of a focus on him. He could have just been in little situations throughout the night and really built him up, opposed to just having him come out of a fucking box on Saturday night. They could have done a few things with him tonight, even with a debut spot at the top of Monday Night Raw. I agree. Saturday night was not the spot for it. It wasn't. Not on a PLE where you're trying to settle 2 of your WrestleMania main events.
Yeah.
Because Saturday night was a huge focus for WrestleMania. It was. You had 2 chamber matches to determine who's going to face the world champions who didn't have challengers yet. You had a women's intercontinental title, was whether who's going to WrestleMania to defend that belt. And then the world champion, who's going to take on Roman. So, and then you fit in the Danhausen thing. You expected that to get the biggest pop of the night? No. No way. And I think the other thing is, too, is too many people counted on it to be Chris Jericho.
Oh, yeah.
Ever since the rumors have been flying around about Chris Jericho, I think the expectations are way too high on a Chris Jericho even coming to WWE. I think they are. I think we need to lower those expectations and just let it happen when it happens.
I agree.
So, but not a bad thing for Danhausen tonight. I was happy for him tonight. I was a little happy for him on Saturday too, even though the circumstances kind of sucked for him. Let's go all the way to the end of the show, because I feel like this would be a hot topic to talk about. We got Roman Reigns and CM Punk at the end of the show. Obviously, World Championship match, WrestleMania, Roman and CM Punk. It should be the main event of night number 2. Had their first, I guess you can call it first official face-off, due to the fact that CM Punk defended the world title on Saturday, and we didn't know whether it was going to be him or Finn Balor. We kind of knew, but you know. But Roman comes out, the acknowledge me thing, and gets cut off right by CM Punk. No hesitation whatsoever. But CM Punk, he came out and made his first claim of he's going to have to carry Roman Reigns for the next 7 weeks to WrestleMania. And carry his bullshit for 7 weeks to WrestleMania. Roman did go on to say a couple things, especially about bringing in CM Punk back to WWE, because apparently, you know, management went to Roman Reigns and said, hey, how do you feel about CM Punk coming back? And some of the things that Roman Reigns listed was bringing him back to entertain the 30 to 40-year-old virgins who still live at home with their parents, sell a few T-shirts, and sell out Chicago. He said he's not CM Punk. He's just a punk-ass bitch. Okay? But then CM Punk responded and said, you keep talking about these we's, like we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Roman, you're all alone. You don't have a Wiseman. You don't have your cousins, anything like that. I'm hanging out with your cousins backstage, and I claim that I do. But I will not let you disrespect me. Not going to let that happen. And he also said something, and this is where the Jericho thing comes in, because he said he made the list. And you heard the crowd. Ooh.
Yeah.
Stop. You made the list. I'm going to bury you, and then I'm going to bury you next to your dad. Shit just got personal. And shit just got real.
Ooh, man.
Now, here's the thing, Cam, as I'm going to say this right now. Roman Reigns comes in certain dates. Certain dates we see him. We don't see him all the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes. With how they set this up, we're 47 days away from WrestleMania. Okay? 47 days away from WrestleMania. With the way CM Punk, and this is just my opinion, with the way CM Punk responded to what Roman said, if I was Roman Reigns, I would make sure I make every date possible before WrestleMania. Because he just made things personal. So my question for you is, do you think tonight's interaction becomes a little more irrelevant if Roman Reigns is not as at many shows as he should be after what CM Punk said? And your thoughts on this segment alone?
Well, a few things here. I think we can just appreciate, I think we should appreciate just the dialogue I think that has been used between these two. We talked about it early on when Raw had gone to Netflix. They have more freedom or things that they can say and they can be more vulgar and things like that. They just do not care at all. It seems like they have just thrown the script out the window with these two, because this is the second time I think they have used certain language that you don't think you would hear in this day and age with the WWE. That's kind of more of an AEW thing. So I can definitely appreciate that. But the things that CM Punk was saying, first of all, if I may start there, were just truth bombs. I mean, yeah, he does have to carry Roman's BS for the next couple of weeks until we get to WrestleMania, because he's not going to be there every week. You just said it. He's a part-timer. He's on that that very strict schedule where he's not going to be there every week. So tonight felt great because, again, this is only the second time we've seen them in the ring face to face, and then he's not going to be there next week. I think we can all probably predict that. So he's definitely going to have to carry Roman for sure. And I like the fact that again, just tonight was just a really good face off, because you're just not going to see a whole lot of it. And then in terms of what Roman had to say, Roman, to me, I felt like instead of him really telling truths, I guess, about CM Punk, it was more he was trying to hurt CM Punk. He was trying to get more in CM Punk's head, and he was trying to get under his skin, telling him we're going to send you down to NXT and things like that. And then, like I said, once again, Punk just comes back and is like, hey, another truth bomb. You're by yourself, so I don't know who this we is. You don't have any more, Samoan goons coming out of your pockets anymore. You don't have anybody watching your back anymore. So it's just you now. And
you don't have your wise men. I stole them.
Yeah, right. And your wise men, I stole them from you. So, and then that last line, and he's that Punk vowed to bury Roman Reigns next to his father, was just absolutely lethal. Now, first of all, I don't even know how that didn't warrant a right hook from Roman in general. Like that was insane to just let Punk walk out the ring after that. So yeah, I sort of agree with you. Like after that, it's like, okay, you made it personal. Now it's more than just a championship. Yeah. Now you're speaking on my family. Now you're speaking on my deceased father. Like now I have to put hands on you. Now I have to hurt you. So yes, to me, him showing up, they shouldn't even announce it. He should show up next week and just ambush CM Punk. Don't even announce it, because after that, like I said, you're adding even more fuel to this fire that was already going. So I'm liking it, man. I'm really excited. I've got goosebumps just even thinking about this match. I think this is going to be fantastic. Them making it personal now. It's more than just a championship now. It's just adding more excitement, I think, to this match. So this was an excellent segment from top to bottom.
And the IWC is going to be out there and asking themselves, oh, did they have to go down the road of making it personal and talk about Roman's dad? Like, what else were they going to do? Like, what else were they going to do? Was CM Punk just going to go out there and claim every week that, oh, I brought you in, you followed my footsteps? That shit will get boring.
You're damned if you damned if you don't, because there was already people I was arguing online about, because I think last week they were saying like, oh, Punk's just going out there, he's repeating himself. What is he supposed to do? Roman's not there. He has no one else to talk back to him. So what is he going to do?
This is John Cena Rock WrestleMania 28 all over again.
Yeah.
where
Exactly.
Cena had to carry almost a full fucking year
Yeah.
of a storyline.
Yeah.
But CM Punk only has to do it for 6-7 weeks.
So
So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Here's the confirmed appearances, which is public information now, of Roman Reigns appearing. March 2nd, Indianapolis tonight. His next appearance is March 16th in San Antonio, Texas. After that, March 23rd in Boston, March 30th in New York. So 3 weeks in a row. And then he's not supposed to appear again until April 13th in Sacramento, California. So almost 2 weeks and about a week out from WrestleMania, the Monday before Mania. So he's not there next week, but then he's going to be there for 3 weeks straight. And then 2 weeks before the Monday before Mania, he's not going to be there. So what did you expect them to do? And as long as Roman's okay with, I mean, stuff like that, you got to kind of approve.
they definitely cleared it.
Yeah, and as long as Roman's okay with it, I mean, it is what it is. I could see it being a problem if Roman was like, I didn't okay this. Like, why did we go down this? Like, are you trying to force me to be here when my schedule's supposed to be this? Yada, yada, yada. But they have to clear that. And all the talk about, CM Punk and Triple H still having their problems, whatever, it's public out there that they've squashed their shit. So this whole thing about CM Punk having problems yet, I don't see it being. If he still had problems, I didn't see him lasting more than 6 months. Yeah. Didn't. But I said it when he came to WWE. I said it on this very show 2 years ago. I said if him and Triple H squashed their shit, then I see it working. That was the only way I seen it working. And immediately they covered those bases. They covered their shit. They squashed everything. Let's roll and let's make things happen. Let's make some magic. At the end of the day, it's a TV show, and all TV shows say crazy shit. Of course, yeah. Of course. But, I mean, you do kind of have to draw the line. And to talk about someone's deceased family member who was a intricate part of the business, that is kind of crossing a little bit of a line. Yeah. And it's a line that you really have to get okayed. That's something you do want to get okayed. You don't want to just cross that line without approval from said person and person's family, anything like that. So, I'm glad I'm happy with where they're going. I'm actually excited to see where this goes, and it's making me more excited for this match at WrestleMania. It is. It really is. Now the question is placement. They can't put this match on Saturday night. This has to be final match Sunday night. I don't give a shit who's facing who in the other matches. This has to be the final match of the card. Night 2, main event. Yeah. I mean, I know we talk very vividly about match card placement and all that stuff and where matches should happen and everything like that. This is a final match Sunday night going into the ring last and nobody else after them. Like, this match needs to happen last. Because let's think of it this way. If their card, because Cam, you look at the WrestleMania card right now, we have Roman and Punk, Rhea and Jade, Stephanie and Liv, and what else am I forgetting? And then Drew Randy Orton challenge. Yeah. The open challenge for Brock, and then whoever's facing Randy Orton, because we get Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes on Friday night for the championship. So we have 5 confirmed matches, and we normally at WrestleMania get about 10 or 11, maybe 12. What's the rest of your card going to fill out to be? And even though we might get Cody and Randy, which I think that's the road they're going to go down, I don't think they're going to do Drew and Randy. I think they're doing Cody Randy. Cody Randy is Saturday night. This is this is too big of a story. Yeah. I think Punk and Roman is a much bigger story. I know the history between Cody and Randy. I know it's there. But this storyline between Punk and Roman got very, very interesting and very hot very quickly. And even with Roman having his schedule, I think they're going to keep it hot. I think they will. I don't see this storyline cooling down at all. And they heated it up tonight. They did. They lit that shit on fire tonight. And there ain't nothing that's going to be able to put it out. Nothing. So let's go all the way to the top of the show when the Vision came out. They started the show off not very happy because Logan Paul did not win the Elimination Chamber, even though he eliminated 3 people inside the chamber because of Seth Rollins making his big return. Logan Paul didn't win, got stomped. So Paul Heyman went on to call Seth Rollins some names, called him the single biggest thief and that he hates Rollins. He's claiming that they're going to stomp his ass into the ground the next time he comes into the ring. And then Austin Theory. This was very interesting to me, Cam, because I am kind of curious if this is Austin Theory's new tagline. He goes, "My name is Austin Theory, and here's my theory." Here's my theory. Dude, it's not working. Don't do it anymore. It was very cringe for you to do that because we're trying to take you seriously. And for you to come out and say, "I'm Austin Theory, this is my theory." Yeah. No, don't. Stop. He just babbled on. I don't even know what he was saying. Logan Paul looked like... I'm going to say this. Logan Paul looked like a wrestler from like the 1980s, early 90s that was pissed off about something, the way he was moving. Like, yeah. I'm like, dude, chill out, bro. Like, you lost the chamber. You didn't win. Seth Rollins came in and stomped your ass and cost you the match. You're not going to do anything to Seth Rollins. Stop. This is between Paul and Seth. The question is who's going to fill the shoes to take on Seth once he gets cleared, unless he's not cleared until after Mania, but I see him being cleared way before Mania. We had a couple of the masked men come out, interrupt with the security guards that Adam Pearce brought out, interfered and distracted the Vision, leaving Paul Heyman in the middle of the ring. Seth Rollins came out, unmasked himself, and nailed Paul Heyman with a chair and then stomped him, leaving Paul Heyman laying in the middle of the ring, bloodied. And then we came back from a commercial break, and he was getting put into an ambulance. Why he was getting helped into the ambulance, Jimmy Uso attacked Austin Theory, and LA Knight drove the ambulance away. So then we heard absolutely nothing the rest of the night about Paul Heyman with LA Knight driving him away. That kind of, you open the night off with this craziness, and then we get no confirmation of update on what's going on with Paul Heyman because LA Knight was driving the ambulance. They just let it go. Nothing. Makes sense, I guess. But later on in the night, Austin Theory had a match against Jimmy Uso. And this match did not end. It just abruptly stopped because Logan Paul came out and attacked Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso comes out with a crutch and helps Jimmy attack Logan and Austin Theory. And Uso standing tall in the middle of the ring. And I messaged you and said, there's our tag title match for WrestleMania. I said it last week. Usos against these guys for the tag belts. It just fits. So your thoughts on this crazy opening segment and the possibilities of us getting the Usos against Logan Paul and Austin Theory?
Very chaotic scene. Opening Monday Night Raw tonight. I loved it. You had to keep your head on a swivel and really just pay attention to everything that was going on. So I definitely liked how the way they opened up Monday Night Raw tonight. In terms of the segment with the Vision, yeah, I agree with you. I didn't even hear Theory say say that line or whatever. He was just womp a womp a womp. I didn't care. I did not care. He's got the look. He's got the awesome. He's probably got one of the best entrance themes probably on Raw, honestly. But it's just not clicking. Something's missing with that guy. I don't know what it is. But keep him off the mic until you got something better.
Yes.
Keep him off the mic until you got something better. Then this is my theory. No,
this is my theory.
No. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Logan Paul. Now, in terms of Logan Paul, to me, he was moving to me like a kid that he was moving like a kid in a candy store, and his parents told him no, like no more sugar for you.
Perfect.
That's how he's moving. He's moving like a spoiled kid tonight that just was told no more sugar for you tonight, Logan. So I don't know. His whole Vision thing is a mess right now. With to me the centerpiece, Braun Breaker not being there. to keep
Yeah.
everything together. Because even Paul is just not enough to keep this all together. You see these masked men flying out of the woodwork. You know, they were teasing like they were going to get in the ring, and they run off. Security would run them off. Logan ran off. Theory ran off, and then it just left Paul in the ring by himself. And one final masked man in Seth Rollins. That got a big reaction again tonight. I don't know why we're still doing that though, necessarily. I mean, we already know it's Seth Rollins. I don't think he needed a second reveal. Just 24 hours removed from when he already revealed himself initially for the first time at Chamber. I don't know. Maybe they thought it was just going to add, I don't know, more excitement to a second reveal. Who knows? Paul eats a curb stomp and was just bloodied. I didn't see that coming. That was definitely shocking. So who knows what's going to happen with that? I don't know if they've just written off Paul Heyman. Again, we had no real update the rest of the night, as you said. And like I said, Jimmy in the parking lot. Theory thought it was Logan. Jimmy comes out of the car, attacks Theory. They have a match. Jay comes back, and like you said, we had talked about this before. That probably being the WrestleMania match for the tag team titles. I'm fine with that. I don't really see what else you do with the Vision right now in their current position, because they just look like a tag team right now with Logan Paul and Austin Theory. So I'm fine with that. And I think what else happened? Where am I at now?
You covered it all. You did. Okay. I mean, the thing is they left it open ended with the fact that Paul Heyman gets carted away in an ambulance with LA Knight driving him away, and then we heard nothing of it the rest of the night, which made no sense. I'm like, okay, now what made sense was during the Jimmy and Theory match where you had Logan Paul and then Jay came out. That set things up for a tag title match for WrestleMania. So that could be the 6th match added onto the card. But what you're also leaving open is the fact that Seth Rollins comes back, does his thing. Who does he face at WrestleMania? Because he's going to be cleared for Mania. He's getting physical. He probably just can't take physicality, but he can be physical in certain extents, which he's doing. So now the question is, who does he face? Sitting here thinking about it, and I'm kind of putting 2 and 2 together, I don't think it's an open challenge for Brock Lesnar. I think we're getting Seth and Brock. Only makes sense. At the end of the day, you think about it, who do you really see facing Brock Lesnar at the end of the day? Who do you really see stepping up and taking on Brock Lesnar at the end of the day?
I don't know, but my hope is it's Oba. That's my hope.
And that's everybody's hope. That's everybody's.
The only exception I'll take is Royce Keys, and that's it.
But like I said, like I said to you off air, that they listen to us as fans. But the problem is we wish and ask for things, and 90% of the time they don't give it to us.
They don't do it. Yeah,
they don't. So we're hoping for an Obafemi and Brock Lesnar thing. But I have a feeling that it's going to be Seth Rollins and Brock. Because at the end of the day, who else does Paul have right now? Nobody. All his guys are injured that could potentially face Seth at Mania.
Yeah.
Brock's the only guy that's really there. Unless
only thing I can think of, unless you want to keep him connected to the division thing, is you make him the special guest referee in a tag team title match. If he's not cleared, if he does not get cleared, that's what I would say too.
That, or if you want to keep a little bit of a connection thing, Paul Heyman has the relationship with Drew McIntyre. If Drew McIntyre drops the WWE Championship on Friday, Seth and Drew. Because look at the stare down that we got from Seth and Cody at Chamber. That little stare down they had. Yeah. And with Cody having problems with Drew, Seth can always help Drew out and keep Drew distracted during Mania so Cody can take on Randy without Drew interfering. But then Seth, for a second time, helped out Cody at WrestleMania and never got his return from Cody. Because Cody still owes Seth from WrestleMania 40. Still owes him. Long term, my friend.
Yeah, long
term. The little things that we can remember. It's open. It's an open thing. But part of me feels like they're going to go the route of Brock Lesnar. Because it's kind of like one of those deals of like, My two guys are distracted right now with the Usos. I have nobody else that could be here in my defense. The only guy that I have that doesn't have a match that nobody's stepping up to is Brock Lesnar. So send the beast to take on Seth, or take Seth on and try and take him out. But Brock doesn't have the greatest track record against Seth.
Not really. Not
at Mania, not at SummerSlam. Seth tends to beat him on the big stage. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, again, the Obafemi thing sounds so good. It sounds so good. But right now, it seems like they have Obafemi tied up with Rusev, because Rusev came out tonight and challenged Obafemi, and we're getting a match next week. But part of me feels like they're trying to make this into something that I don't think is really going to turn into anything, because Rusev hasn't done anything since coming back. And Obafemi, they're trying to build him up. Maybe it's just a build-up stepping stone to get him to Brock. Who knows? But your thoughts on this Rusev Obafemi thing?
Yeah, you said it. It's just a stepping stone to get to Brock, I think. I was very concerned because the way they built this segment up was like, I was thinking Oba wasn't. I thought Oba wasn't going to say a word and just point to the WrestleMania sign, and I was going to be like,
"Good thing he didn't."
Oh, come on! Nobody wants this.
No.
So thankfully, they're announcing this for next week. Now, could this be a one-off, two-off? I don't know. This could end in a freaking disqualification because they decide to rip the ring apart. It's just two beasts, locking horns next week. But I personally think the smart move is to go with having Oba win straight up cleanly and end it there.
Yeah.
That's what I say. And then whatever the next Brock segment is or whatever, Oba is the one to answer that challenge. He comes out and says, I'm accepting the challenge. Plain and simple. So I think that's what this is. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, that's just it. And like I said, it serves a purpose, I guess, for Rusev. Because he just doesn't have anything else going on. He had the Sheamus thing going for a little while.
Yeah.
And then once that ended, it just went ice cold. And he hasn't been on TV, I think, since. So
yeah. I mean, you said one off or two off. I was looking at the schedule to see if we have anything in between now and WrestleMania, like a Saturday night's main event. We don't. It's straight up the road to WrestleMania at this point. There's absolutely nothing going on between now and Mania. So hopefully it's a one-off. And again, hoping they go down that road of Oba and Brock. But part of me just feels like they're setting things up for Brock and Seth because Paul has absolutely nobody. Again, unless they go to the thing of him having the relationship with Drew, and Drew doesn't have the championship anymore, and then we get Seth and Drew. But those are the only two logicals I can think of for a Seth matchup if he's cleared. But him becoming the special guest referee for the tag team titles, I could see that too. I could. But then you would think, the Usos, they're going to walk out tag champs anyways. You wouldn't see Logan Paul and Austin Theory walking out as tag champs at that point. So, and with the Usos having the tag belts, it makes more sense for them to have the tag belts anyways, regardless, because if you put them on anybody else right now, it's like you forget about the tag titles. But if they're on the Usos, then they show up. So, but Obafemi against Rusev. Yeah, Rusev, I even said to you, I said, nope, Oba's going to send Rusev right back to AEW. It's I mean, it's working for Andrade right now.
Yeah.
Maybe Rusev sees that and is like, maybe I could make my second coming to AEW and, be in the world title picture. I don't even see him being in there. I don't.
No.
I 13 years ago when we got Rusev debuting, and I remember it vividly, was I went to a house show the night before the Royal Rumble in Philly back in 2013. And Rusev made his house show debut at that show. And then the next night made his debut at the Royal Rumble on TV. And it's like, man, this guy's going to be something big. He goes to WrestleMania against John Cena. Absolutely nothing. After that, that was it.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks. Then he goes to AEW, and you thought they were going to do something with him there. And for a little bit, he had some traction.
Yeah.
But then it was, it's a little bit of traction, then absolutely nothing. Nothing. AJ Lee's the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. She came out tonight and was talking about Becky Lynch. And she said that she only came back to snatch the hair off of her big-ass head, but instead she snatched the title as well. She is now saying and making the claim, like every babyface champion does, is that she wants to be a fighting champion. Cam, you got to admit, that's an every babyface champion thing. At this point, I want to be a fighting champion. Every babyface champion says it. Come on.
Yeah.
But the question lies is who's going to challenge her? Well, we had Bayley and Lyra backstage talking about going and challenging for it. Io Sky came out of Adam Pearce's locker room, so it seems like she wants to go after it. And even Raquel and Liv Morgan backstage during the Judgment Day segment, which we'll get into in a few moments, we're talking about Raquel going after AJ for the Intercontinental Championship, thus leading up to a gauntlet match next week to determine the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Cam, me and you talked about Becky and AJ going to WrestleMania for this belt. We didn't even expect AJ to win the belt on Saturday, and she did. So do you think this is the end of the road for Becky and AJ? Do you think Becky gets involved and makes this a three-way match? Or do you think we're going to get strictly a one-on-one match with AJ and the winner of this gauntlet match? Because you had mentioned to me about a multi-woman match at WrestleMania, which made sense because the last time AJ defended a championship at WrestleMania, it was like a 10-woman match, and she won. And then the next night, she lost the title to Paige. Okay? So your thoughts around this whole Women's Intercontinental title thing, who do you think it's going to be? Do you think Becky's still going to be involved? Or do you think it's going to be like a multi-woman thing still?
I don't know, man. It's weird right now. I expected them to carry this into WrestleMania. To me, in my eyes, I guess, maybe I'm alone in this, but the most Intercontinental Championship reign thus far for the women, for me, has been Becky.
Yeah,
I've pretty much enjoyed it. AJ Lee will have a bit of a good, refreshing kind of run, I guess, to kind of refresh the title, give somebody else a run, I guess. But I don't see it entertaining me in the same way that Becky kept me entertained with that title. Like, I was more in tune with what was going on with that championship and what she was going to do next and who she was going to challenge next, even more so than the women's world title. So yeah, she's definitely done some great work with it. So them going with this gauntlet and things like that, on the road to WrestleMania, it seems like they're moving away from Becky, because otherwise I don't see why they would be doing this. They suggested Raquel backstage, as you said. I guess that's not a bad decision if they don't plan to move forward with anything with her and Liv, which again, I'm still sticking to my guns. That's the bread and butter. That to me right there is a feud that they might not ever recognize. So I guess that's a sound plan if you're not going to do anything else with Raquel going into WrestleMania, and Roxanne is still hurt. So there goes women's tag team title opportunity as well. So maybe that Bayley, again, she's ice cold. I forgot she was even on Raw. I'm gonna be honest with you. They were going somewhere with this whole split personality thing or whatever, and they just dropped that out of thin air. And she's just, I don't know. It's odd. Her and Lyra having this very odd dynamic backstage, both being in the mid card scene and also not at the same time, because like they're 1 minute it's like they're chasing the women's tag team titles. Then they're both chasing the Women's Intercontinental Championship. It's weird. It's confusing. So, they talked to Adam Pearce as well. So I can still definitely see a multi-woman match just to fit as many people that are in this mid-card scene now, or who have been around or have been floating around the Women's Intercontinental Championship, fatal 4-way, fatal 5-way, maybe we get a ladder match for the women. I don't know. But either way, I could still see them going that route. We'll definitely have to see, because right now, I mean, if they go with anybody other than Becky, to me, it's not going to make a lot of sense. If they go Bayley and AJ Lee, it's going to be like, that makes no sense, because Bayley has just been ice cold with no forward progression in any feud, and she's just been, handcuffed to Lyra for the longest with no progression at all. So I don't know. It's very confusing on what they're going to do with the Intercontinental Championship scene right now.
Well, I mean, we had Asuka backstage with Kairi, and she seemed pretty mad at Kairi. Last week Asuka was saying to Kairi that she did a good job in her qualifying match, and now that Asuka lost in the chamber, she's pissed off at Kairi. And that was the start of this whole thing with AJ. Like AJ came out to her and was like, "Hey, blink twice if you're okay." And you just see Kyra stand there, and then Asuka yells for her, and it's like, "Oh, okay, see ya. Have a good one." And I'm guessing this was Asuka's claim of going after the Intercontinental Championship, because next week in this gauntlet match, it's Lyra, Bayley, Asuka, Raquel, Ivy Nile, and Io Sky. That's who's in this gauntlet match. And that's a hell of a field. Again, Bayley, yeah, she's been ice cold. Lyra, she's been kind of in that mix with her. Asuka, just coming fresh out of the chamber, along with Raquel. Raquel dominant in that chamber, hell of a showing. A lot of people thought she was going to win it. And then you got Ivy Nile, who's just been bouncing around, doing really nothing much. And then Io, who's coming off her tag team championships with Rhea. So it's like, out of any of these women that matter, Lyra, no. Bayley, no. Ivy Nile, no. I mean, Asuka, Raquel, and Io. And does Io and AJ Lee at WrestleMania really make sense?
I don't know.
Asuka,
maybe because I don't see them. I don't think she's ever going to win back the women's championship on either show. And then they haven't shown that that's their plan. So,
and then Raquel. I mean, Raquel can make sense, and I think the only way that makes sense is if Liv Morgan goes out and beats Stephanie.
Yeah.
And the Judgment Day women, rule the roost again. And that's the other thing, is the Judgment Day. It seems like they have this thing of wanting to disband this group, but after tonight, the way things were, it's almost like they made them stronger. Like with how things happen. And let's get into that. Judgment Day had their backstage. Raquel and AJ had their thing, or Raquel and Liv had their thing about Raquel going after the Women's Intercontinental title. And then Finn Balor coming out and saying that he's at peace with his loss to CM Punk. He got a shot. He did it alone. Nobody interfered. But then Dom brought up the fact of getting help for tonight against Penta. And Finn told him, like, hey, like, you got to go do this on your own. You said you could do this on your own. Do it on your own. And Dom was like, are you guys going to be out there at least cheering me on? Like, don't help me, whatever. And, they said, yeah, we'll be out there. We'll be out there. And if you win, we're going to celebrate with you, everything like that. So it's like this group is kind of like this. And now it's starting to get like this. And especially with Liv telling Raquel, hey, go after the Women's Intercontinental title. So now it's like we're giving strength back to a group that almost looked like they were going to disband last week. Like, what do you guys want to do with this? John, who me and him were talking about it because he watched Elimination Chamber because of his schedule. He didn't get to watch Elimination Chamber until Sunday. Me and him were talking about the event. And he had said that he wished Raquel would have won the Chamber. And I said to him, yeah, but if you think of it, and a lot of people wish that. I know a lot of people wanted Raquel to win. But if you think of it, and I'm going to say this, as much as they were doing that whole thing of looking like they were disbanding the Judgment Day, it wouldn't have made sense to have Raquel win, go to Mania and win the title. And he had said, well, then they could have had the Judgment Day running Raw and SmackDown. But how? They're not on the same show together. And then if you end the group with no explanation whatsoever, then you just wasted the last 2.5 years on this group. Like, it wouldn't have made sense. Because this was a very much focused group. You at least want a little bit of an explanation on why this group is just so instantly torn apart.
Yeah.
Not only just due to not just because of championships. I think they dropped the ball. Honestly, my opinion, Cam. I think they dropped the ball when Raquel could have won the championship on Raw against Stephanie. Liv won the Rumble, and they could have done something between Liv and Raquel at Mania. And that could have been the start of your disbandment of this group.
Yeah.
Or they could have started the story the week after Raquel won the championship. They could have started a story going into Mania. Like they did with Io and Bayley at Mania 2 years ago. With that group disbanding. We got an explanation there. Judgment Day has been kind of a mainstay on Raw for the past 2.5, almost 3 years. You can't just disband them and not give us anything to close on it. That just, I don't know. I may be different. I may be alone on this. I think it would just not be a good thing to just not give us anything and just split them up because of championships and then being on different shows.
I'm not the biggest fan of Raquel, but Raquel's performance in the chamber was amazing. I think she carried that. I think she carried that match. Honestly, she did. And so she made me a believer in that match that she probably should have won that match. So you could have had Raquel. You could have went a completely different direction and made people's heads spin around, and just have her win the match, say her farewells to the Judgment Day, go over to SmackDown, kind of like what we got tonight with Rhea and Kyrie, or Rhea and Io. And have, like I said, have her go to SmackDown and challenge Jay Cargill for the WWE Championship.
Yeah,
because like I said, she carried that match easily. I was very impressed. I was very impressed by her, and I was very impressed by Kiana James, who I think is improving. So them two, I think definitely had some really good performances there. So I would not have been opposed to her winning the chamber at all. Her going after the Women's Intercontinental Championship, again, like I said, if you're not going to do anything with Liv, you're not going to explore that when it's right there in your laps. I don't see why not. I don't think I really don't see it being Kyrie or Asuka, going back to them. Like I said, again, I've said this ever since they were feuding with Rhea and Io for the tag titles.
Yeah.
Or even before the tag titles got into play, eventually Kyrie's going to get fed up of the abuse from Asuka. Yeah. And tonight almost came to a head because I thought Asuka was just going to flat out just attack Kyrie Sane. And she came like that close. So Kyrie eventually is gonna it's the classic heel and heel switching into babyface classic trope of one of them just gets tired of the abuse from the other heel and they turn babyface, and that is your classic setup for WrestleMania. So I could see that. I could see them just having a WrestleMania match one-on-one, no championships, no nothing involved. That's just a blood feud right there because obviously Kyrie is just fed up with dealing with Asuka and the abuse that she has suffered for months now. So that I think is going to more so be their match. So they're going to be tied up eventually too.
What I was gonna say was if they would have kept the belts on Rhea and Io and didn't go the route of Rhea Ripley winning the Elimination Chamber, I could have seen a match between them and the Kabuki Warriors, and then at Mania, after the Kabuki Warriors lose, Asuka treating like Kyrie like shit in the middle of the ring, and then Kyrie just freaking socking her one, and she walks out with Io and Rio. That's what I seen coming. Or a couple of tag teams be involved, and then that happened. But either way, I see that happening at Mania in the middle of the ring, get the big pop from the Las Vegas crowd, and there you go. But as far as Raquel, I mean, again, I don't feel like disbanding the Judgment Day without some type of story happening of a breakup would be fitting because of the fact that how long this group has been a mainstay on Monday Night Raw. What I can see happening is Liv Morgan going and winning the women's world title. AJ Lee, if she faces Raquel at Mania, she can beat Raquel. And then, Liv just trying to grab all the attention, walking out of Mania. And then something happens between her and Raquel where it builds up, maybe even through the summertime and get us to SummerSlam. And then we get Raquel and Liv at SummerSlam and Raquel finally does it. And then that could be your disbandment of the Judgment Day. Finn Balor's already planting those seeds on what he's doing. Okay, so that's the men's division right there. Now you got the women. And I think that Liv and Raquel, their seeds can be planted after WrestleMania, after Liv wins the world title. Raquel can go in. She can try and... Even if Raquel wins the Intercontinental Championship, Liv can try and take all the attention and just build a story leading up to SummerSlam. And it's not going to be a long wait because it's not like SummerSlam happens at the end of the month either of August. It happens at the beginning of the month now.
Yeah.
So you're only realistically waiting until the beginning of August, and depending on how things fall, maybe the end of July. So what's up, Will? Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate you stopping in, checking out the table spot, and joining us here. We are talking about currently the Judgment Day and how things are with them right now and the disbandment and everything. It's, it's a fucking mess. It is. It's just a fucking mess. One week you're making this group look weak, and the next week you're strengthening them up, bringing them back together. Like, makes do something here.
Yeah,
But yeah, Raquel, Rhea and Io tonight was just it was just freaking weird. That was so weird. You had said to me that you thought that Rhea was going to turn on Io, and I was like, man, that would have been so much better than what we got tonight. That would have been so much better. Like, I get it. This is your whole like farewell to Rhea because now she's going to go to SmackDown and start her story with Jade Cargill. But like, you could have done this in the back. You didn't have to bring him out on the stage. I know you wanted to get that entrance in with Rhea, but still, you could have done this backstage. Like, I think what would have been better was maybe Rhea, as she's walking out of the arena with her stuff, she gets stopped, and then Io can come like walking in, like, you know, hey, you know, where you heading? Oh, I'm heading to SmackDown to, you know, get ready for my match with Jade Cargill. Give her a hug, walk away. You didn't have to have everything that happened in this segment tonight. And then Rhea could have just said, you know, I'm about to head to SmackDown to go after the WWE Championship, and then just leave. You didn't have to have all this shit that happened on that stage tonight. I forget what you said to me off air. I do. I forget what you said to me off air, but it was funny as hell. It was.
So I had said that I felt like, we needed to give them a moment or get them a room. Like all this kissing and hugging on the stage is like, okay, hey man, listen, I get it. You know, Rhea, you love Io, you love Rhea. We get it. But this is Monday Night Raw. Like, you know, I want to see some carnage. I don't want to see all this kissing and hugging on stage. This is too much.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to build Rhea up strong to go after Jade Cargill, which we know to some degree is not going to be an easy task. Okay. You know, so yeah, you got to make her look strong going forward. I mean, we already had one number one contender for a women's world title crying a couple of weeks ago, what I still don't understand. I don't get what the purpose of that was. I just don't get it. So, and then this week you got her, you know, freaking hugging Io Sky. Like, what is going on? So I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of that was. I get it to an extent. It was like her farewell from Raw because she's ultimately going to SmackDown now. But yeah, this could have been a backstage thing. I agree with you there, or just off camera in general. We didn't need to see it. I do believe that now for a second, I did believe that she was going to turn on Io Sky. Like, just the way she was talking to her.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, I appreciate everything you've done for me and things like that. It just, I don't know. It literally felt like she was just going to just take out Io Sky, like out of the blue. That is how the way she was talking and looking at Io Sky in that moment. That's what it felt like. But in general, like I said, I think it'll be a good. First of all, it'll be a good thing. It'll be a great thing actually for the SmackDown Women's roster because it's not great over there. There's a big void over there, and I think they need a shuffle. So that's probably why they are taking Rhea to SmackDown. It's going to help ratings. Again, that's a 3-hour show on the USA Network, so they care about ratings. They want to sell more tickets. They want to push more merch, things like that. So, you know, if someone who is arguably probably one of their biggest women's stars in the company, and Rhea Ripley, I think is going to make a huge splash over there on SmackDown. So I don't see why they wouldn't put the WWE Women's Championship on her at WrestleMania.
You are the first person that just gave like a positive outlook of Rhea Ripley going to SmackDown, because anybody else that I've either heard talk about or have talked to about Rhea going to SmackDown suddenly to go after the WWE Championship has been like, oh, it makes no sense. Why do they have to go with Rhea? Like, all these other women could have had opportunity, yada, yada, yada. It's like, think about this for a second. Okay, Rhea just lost the tag team titles.
Yes.
Okay, so her and Io are no longer tag champions. They are in somewhat of panic mode of building a card 6 weeks out from WrestleMania in Las Vegas. They're going back to the same place they were last year. So they're going to have to make things better than they did last year. And I'm saying this right now. That crowd last year left with a bad taste in their mouth with Cody and John.
Yeah.
So they got to make up for that. And don't give me this, oh, they made up for it at SummerSlam with Cody and John. Yeah, but they have to make up for everything. Because you packed everything all in one when you leave on that second night. What's the last thing you've seen? John and Cody in a not so good match. You leave with a bad taste in your mouth and you feel like you wasted time and money and all that stuff. Now they got to make it worth it. And Rhea Ripley just so happens to be a go-to right now. She is very popular. She's going to get the crowd going, the crowd excited. And yes, it is her 4th year in a row going for a world title. But it's not like she's walking in as champion. And it's not so much of a guarantee she's going to walk out as champion, even though she's facing Jade, because Jade is getting that similar push right now. She is. So for her to go, and you went right into detail, she's going to SmackDown that needs a little bit of help with viewership because it's a 3-hour show. It's a little hard to watch. And you're getting a fresh story between two people who have never crossed paths. There's two things about this. Number one, they can do it right by giving us a fresh storyline that is not recycled, that nobody else used. Don't give me one of those storylines to where you're inserting 2 new people into a storyline that happened 10 years ago. Give me something new. Give me something fresh. And that, at the end of the day, that can make you look forward to this match at WrestleMania. Or the bad thing can happen is they recycle a storyline and give us something that we've already seen and inserted 2 new people into. One of 2 things can happen. Hopefully they go down route number 1. And that is a fresh new storyline that nobody else has ever done. Because these 2 have never crossed paths. That's the other thing about this match. They never crossed paths. So, they may have in segment-wise or whatever, but I don't think they've ever touched in the ring.
No.
I don't believe they ever did.
I don't think they have. Nope.
So there you go. This is fresh. And what do fans ask for? Freshness. Now you're getting it. What's the problem? What's the problem? They also just gave you a reason to watch on Friday nights, because I'll say this right now. Have I watched SmackDown since they debuted on USA? No. Nope. Haven't. I haven't. Now they may have given me a reason to say, you know what, I'm going to turn my TV on a Friday night at 8 o'clock. Just to see Rhea Ripley. And I'm a big Cody Rhodes fan. Cody Rhodes is over on SmackDown. So we're going to see Rhea Ripley on Friday night on SmackDown as soon as this Friday. And we're also getting Cody for the WWE Championship. They gave me 2 reasons to watch SmackDown on Friday night.
It's going to be a stacked show.
What's the problem, Cam? Because I don't see one. Oh, wait, we got it. We're going down the same route with Rhea Ripley again, winning the championship. Who gives a fuck? But we didn't have a problem with John Cena winning 17 world titles, did we? No, we didn't. Can never make anybody fucking happy. Never. In any situation. One thing that did happen tonight, Cam, was the Intercontinental Championship. Dom and Penta. Penta is the new Intercontinental Champion. JD and Finn Balor. Finn Balor, again, keeping his, composure, saying, hey, we're not going to help him when Dom was asking for it towards the end of this match. And Penta ends up winning this match after taking out JD and Finn and then going in and hitting a Mexican Destroyer. We have a new Intercontinental Champion in Penta. Cam, it all started with Danhausen tonight cursing Dom, but also Penta for the past year and a half has had an opportunity for the Intercontinental Championship a couple times, didn't walk out. He finally does it. Your thoughts on this match, and how do you feel about Penta being the new Intercontinental Champion?
I love it. I think it was time. They gave him enough time to really get his feet wet within this company. Again, coming in, we talked about this, what title is he going to have and things like that. It doesn't matter. Like, let him do his thing. Let him get familiar with the WWE style. Let him actually build a connection with the WWE fans and not just throw a championship on him just because he just came in the door. Like, no, he doesn't need that. So I think it was the right time. And again, got a great reaction, great impact. A great finish to the match, because we talk about that a lot as well too. Some of these endings kind of fall flat. So great reaction from the crowd and a good finish. And I like it. And again, like I said, more of dissension between the Judgment Day. Mainly with Finn Balor, JD, and Dominic Mysterio. So again, that's going to come to a head at some point. Again, I'm looking at Mania again. Again, this could be another mid-card non-title match. Between JD and Finn Balor, if they so go that route. They don't really I don't even think they need a title involved. I mean, hey, it's just all about the separation from the Judgment Day with Finn Balor. So he's already got his old theme back, which I noticed. So I feel like you don't give him his old theme back like that and him be a heel. I don't feel like that works. So that crowd interaction, that connection he has when coming out, you don't change him back to his classic theme and he's a heel. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's water and oil. So they're already kind of planting the seeds. They're making sure we're paying attention. They're planting the seeds. They're not going full-fledged right away with him being a babyface. But I think everything that they've built up thus far with the vignettes and the CM Punk thing and all of this is all pushing him towards another really big babyface run. And I think it all starts with, him separating from the Judgment Day. So, but again, congratulations to Penta. Brand new Intercontinental champion. He looks great with the title. I mean, he looks fantastic. So I like it. And like I said, I think he's going to have some great matches and great defenses with that title. So let's see what they do moving forward.
And again, the seeds being planted for Finn Balor backing away from the Judgment Day. I see next Monday night already. You're going to have JD and Dom who are going to want to go after Penta. And I could see Finn being like, Penta was just doing what he needed to do because he thought we were going to get involved, and we weren't. And I could see Dom and JD being like, that's the point. He got, thought we were going to get involved, but didn't attack us. Well, then he was just taking care of the business. He was reassuring himself that we weren't getting involved. And I could see Finn Balor being like that new voice of reason, like seeing the brighter side of things. Like, if I was in Penta's shoes, I'd have done the same thing. Yeah. Like, I could see it. And for them to plant those little seeds right now, I could see people complaining about, they should make this happen quicker. No, let it fucking slow burn a little bit. Let it really build up. We just had a 2.5 year buildup of this group. Let it build up. We don't have to rush things. Calm down. The world isn't moving as fast as you think, people. Chill out. Let things build. I got to use one of my taglines. I don't think I've ever gotten to do that yet. But it's still the point. Like, we don't have to rush things. We don't. I mean, and with the Judgment Day, it almost feels like they have the split of, the women are doing the women thing, the men are doing the men's thing. It doesn't have to be one big thing at all at one cost. It doesn't. Because at the end of the day, do you see Liv and Dom being together at the end of everything? Yeah. They're so close to the hip. I see Liv and Dom, when the disbandment happens, still being together. I can see Raquel and Roxanne kind of doing something together because they built that relationship, but I can also see Raquel off doing her own thing. The one that I don't see benefiting from the split out of all of them is Roxanne Perez. Like, you brought her in to kind of fill that void of Liv Morgan being gone. Liv's back. Liv was okay with Roxanne being there. You started this whole thing of her flirting with Dom, and that ended really quickly. When you thought that was going to be a thing between Roxanne and Liv, it didn't turn into anything. And you can't go down the road in 3 months. If Roxanne comes back in 3 months, you can't go down the road and try and bring that back because it's dead in the water. No way.
Yeah.
I could see Raquel and Roxanne kind of doing like the whole team up thing. JD, if they repackage him the right way and kind of bring him in like an Austin Theory repackage and toughen him up, like make him a little more badass looking, I could see him having some success. But other than that, JD could be another one that could be kind of in the waters. Like, your strongest members right now are Finn Balor, Dom, and Liv. Raquel's getting that build up. JD and Roxanne are the two that are really just getting the shit end of the stick.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think it depends on when it comes to Roxanne. Now, again, when she was on NXT, I just felt like the phenomenal run she had on NXT as NXT Women's Champion. She was just kind of pretty much just dwarfing everybody around her. Mm-hmm. So she looked, like the biggest star, exactly, on NXT in that women's division, which is a crazy feat because that women's division on NXT is absolutely stacked.
Would it hurt somebody like her to go back to NXT at this point?
I think so, because there's just really not much for her to do.
But if she went back to NXT, do you think she could be that strong presence to kind of be mixed into that NXT?
It's too far gone because it's just there's other people now that have replaced her, that have
Okay.
taken her spot. So now she would just look like somebody else on the roster.
What about JD?
JD could use it. I can see that.
JD
There's not
definitely.
that men's division is not real deep. he would fit in for sure. But no, so with Roxanne on the main roster, it's just it's definitely different because now you have other stars that have been there longer and they're just so far ahead of her that it's going to take a while for them to if again if they plan to go back to that route at some point, it's going to take a while to really build something up with Roxanne. I believe so. Yeah, I could see that she will just be just another member on the roster if the Judgment Day broke up tomorrow. It wouldn't be nothing there. Same thing with JD. That's why I suggested a long time ago turn Finn babyface, but turn JD babyface as well, and just keep him around Finn Balor. That way, he's still in the limelight. Because on his own, there will be nothing there. He's a phenomenal wrestler, though. Oh my God, his NXT run was absolutely phenomenal. But he's completely different than what he was in NXT. It's not even the same person. So yeah, I can definitely see that.
We talk about the women's tag team division and how they're really not being a big presence of it. You know who I could see Roxanne teaming up with? I know this is just like an oddball shooting. But you know who I could see her teaming up with at the end of the day? Like if you want to start building your women's tag team division, you know who I could see her being a partner with?
Who?
With Zelina Vega. They're both not going to be doing anything. They both will probably not be doing anything. You want to build your tag team division? Take two women that aren't doing anything, turn them into a tag team, and build them up. Build them up. Why not? Yes, I'm against the whole single star things, but I'm also not against the fact that if you take two single stars that aren't doing anything and you want to turn them into something, if it naturally fits, why not? Why not? I mean, Cesaro and Sheamus, back when they became a tag team, they weren't doing much of anything. That's why I didn't have much of a problem with them becoming the Bar. I didn't. Two single stars becoming a tag team, didn't have much of a problem with that. But when you have two single stars that can do a lot of stuff, like an Io and Rhea, why? Why do we have to go this route? Why? So, two more things to talk about. Number one, OGL Grande Americana took on Rayo Americana tonight. In the middle of the match, Americano, not OG Americano, headbutted OG, which didn't help Rayo much because OG ended up picking up the win. We talked about the backstage segment that happened earlier in the day, and I guess it's pretty clear now for those of you who didn't know or even guess the fact that OG was Chad Gable. Well, guess what? Tonight should have given you that full on verification that he is OG Americano. I knew this a year ago already, but yeah, and we already know who El Grande Americano is. So Cam, you had said something to me off air at this point that, you know, it seems like these guys are kind of done with this and now they're just kind of overselling what they're doing in these roles. And I agreed with you. I think Chad Gable, he is a huge asset to this company. If they just get him out from underneath that mask and start doing something with him, he could be a huge asset to a storyline that can make a lot of sense. You can even rebirth him and Penta, and it would be a great storyline. But instead, they're continuing doing this thing. Cam, at what point, and I want to get your thoughts on the match and everything that happened tonight, but at what point do they say, this is it?
Well, unfortunately, I think they're going with the route of El Grande versus El Grande for WrestleMania.
Oh yeah,
I don't want that, but I think that's the route they're going to go. You're probably going to get not one but two unmasking, I would think. Hopefully. And then I think, and hopefully, and then I would think that would be it. That would be their final blow off of this, and then we can move on because we don't need this moving forward afterwards. But yeah, no, I'm somebody who goes based off. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. They could be enjoying this for all I know. I don't know. I'm not them. I'm not in their minds. I'm not in their bodies. But I go based off body language. I go based off facial expressions and things like that. And the backstage segment and the things that they were doing in the ring just felt overly goofy. Like in general, El Grande is a goofy character, but it just felt overly goofy. Like it gave me like Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels SummerSlam goofy. Like when Shawn Michaels was just overselling everything Hogan was hitting him with. That's what this gave me, because it's normally not this exaggerated, not this cartoonish. So it just seems like they just want to be over with it, you know. And I really don't blame them. I think they're better than this. I think they could do something a lot more productive. I think with both of these stars, you know, without these masks on and out, without the moniker of El Grande Americano. The match itself was the match. I mean, it was just goofy. But again, I definitely think they're going the route with, now they're trying to distinguish the two, if you've noticed, because now El Grande 2.0 is now wearing black and gold and not wearing the red, white, and blue anymore. So they're trying to distinguish the two now and not have them both wearing the same colors or whatever. So I guess that's the only thing really different, and the only thing that they're really progressing in this storyline. So yeah, but we'll definitely have to see if they go, one-on-one at Mania, or if they do something else. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. I think they're going the route of both of them facing at Mania. And a double unmasking would do wonders, because this needs to end. Needs to. This is it. This needs to be it. It does. Last thing, Gunther took on Dragon Lee tonight. Dragon Lee in defense of AJ Styles. I mean, we knew we were going to get a match at some point. We get it tonight. Not a bad match at all. This was a great way to open up the action of Monday Night Raw tonight, especially with Dragon Lee, just the pre-match attack on Gunther. Gunther very quickly taking over, and then this was a hard-hitting match on both ends. But Gunther does end up picking up the win, choking out Dragon Lee, and Dragon Lee pretty much tapping out because the mask came off as well. Doesn't want to show his face. Makes sense, being a luchador, I want to get your thoughts on this match, number one. But number two, I had said something to you about where we could see Gunther at WrestleMania. And my hopes was for Randy Orton and Gunther. It was my original hopes, because it would have been a fitting match. The Legend Killer versus the career ender. Yeah, career killer versus Legend Killer would have made sense for the tagline. But even this match, we've talked about, could they prolong this to be a WrestleMania like opening match or whatever? They could have possibly did that. No, they did it tonight. I'd said to you, I have a feeling that at some point Rey Mysterio is going to get involved in this, and then we get Rey Mysterio and Gunther at WrestleMania, and if Rey loses, he has to retire because of what the path they put Gunther on. And I know, you'd said to me that you hope not. I kind of hope not either, but part of me feels like that's what they're going to do. Your thoughts on this match, and your thoughts, if they were to go down that road, would you be content with it? Or what would you want to see Gunther ultimately doing, seeing that he's really not involved in much of anything on this road to WrestleMania?
Yeah, the road to WrestleMania is very blurry, very foggy for the ring general, aka the career killer, Gunther, right now. So I mean, hey, would I be content with it? I guess I would have to be. I don't write for this company, so I guess I would have to be. So I guess I'll be fine. I suppose, if that's the route they decide to go with. To me, I think if there were a retirement situation for Rey Mysterio, I'm still sticking to the idea that it would be Dom to be the one to retire him. I think they would just be a better quality match. But based off what they're doing with Gunther right now, I get what you're getting at. That just makes more sense. But right now, I mean, as far as Rey Mysterio goes, I have no indication that he wants to retire this year or that he's going to retire this year. So we'll have to get to that if that is his decision ultimately by the time we get to WrestleMania. So I don't know. We'll have to see there. In terms of the match itself, I love this match. I thought this match was very, very good, very well done. Again, kudos to them doing wonders right now with Dragon Lee. And those power bombs by Gunther, I mean, were absolutely disgusting. Those were crazy. So I love this match. I love how hard hitting and fast paced it was. For me, I would just honestly go the route of Dragon Lee and Gunther at WrestleMania. Honestly, false count anywhere, no DQ, something like that. Add something to this match or whatever, and go with that route, because right now I think where it's going right now, it's not award-winning storytelling by any means, but the action that they've produced over the last couple of weeks and in this match especially have been very, very good. So I wouldn't mind that at all at WrestleMania. So
even the story's been sticking. It has been.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a bad story.
Yeah.
And you can even make this thing work. And just hear me out on this. I know this kind of sounds stupid to even involve this. But back when Ray did his Hall of Fame speech, Dominic Mysterio walked out, and that became part of a storyline. Have Gunther do the same thing during AJ Styles' induction. Just have him walk out. Just have him walk out.
I don't see
a little bit of piece of the story, the disrespect to AJ Styles.
Yep.
Dragon Lee's not happy with it. And they can even make it an impromptu match at WrestleMania. Like, they don't have to put it on the card weeks before. They can literally do it like Friday night is the Hall of Fame induction. Dragon Lee can cut a promo after and be like, you disrespected my friend. You did this. I want you tomorrow night, WrestleMania, when we open those doors. First match of the night. Yes or no? Bam. Gunther goes on social media. Dragon Lee, I'll kick your ass again. Let's do it. And then the first match of Saturday night, Dragon Lee, Gunther, impromptu match.
There you go.
Don't have to do anything special. Simple. There's always that saying, Cam, make it simple, stupid. And that would be simple. And it still makes sense.
And they kind of planted the seeds tonight if you listen, because they said on commentary that Gunther has never lost a non-title singles match.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Me, I would say that's tailor-made for Mania.
Yeah.
Give Dragon Lee that big moment. He beats Gunther. That's Gunther's first non-title singles match loss. I don't see why not.
There you go. That's it for Monday Night Raw from Indianapolis, Indiana on March 2nd, 2026. Cam, Superstar of the Night. What do you got?
Ooh, Superstar of the Night. I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with Dragon Lee.
Same.
I'm going to Dragon Lee.
Great showing tonight.
Dragon Lee had a great showing tonight, honestly. Yeah. I mean, he honestly stole the show, I think. Fantastic match with him and Gunther. Like I said, I love the progression that they have going with him, and they seem to be pretty focused on just keeping him on that path. So I can appreciate that. So I gotta go with Dragon Lee.
I'm with you. Same one, Dragon Lee, because just everything you said, and just they're keeping him under that spotlight, which has been nice to see. It's been a little bit of a refreshment, like a guy that you don't have to sit here and think about or worry about, where his path is right now, where he's at the future, this, that, championships, anything like that. It's just he's focused right now on Gunther because of this situation, and there's a possibility we could see it at WrestleMania. They're taking one step at a time with it. It's working, and there's no rush to it, nothing. It's perfect. And he had a great showing tonight against Gunther. I'm with you, Dragon Lee. Final segment on this day today, Cam, back in 2020, March 2nd, 2020, right before the pandemic. It was the Monday night, I think it was like the second to last Raw before the pandemic hit. On an episode of Raw, the Street Profits ended up defeating Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy for the tag team titles at the Barclays Center in New York. So, big Raw for the Street Profits. I believe that was their first tag team championship win, too. Right. Or no, it wasn't. Because I believe they had the tag titles at Elimination Chamber. Yeah, so no, they went in the Chamber because Chamber was that weekend. I remember it because I went to Chamber 2 weeks before the pandemic happened, and they were the champions going into Chamber. So so they ended up winning those titles before going into Chamber in 2020. So right before the world shut down. So that's what happened on this day. But that's all we got for you guys tonight. Cam, I'm going to put your social medias down on the bottom. Make sure you're going to check out Cam on social media, especially Cam's Wrestling Corner. Great videos. Go check them out. I'm not just saying it because this man is digitally sitting next to me. Cam, what do you got going on?
Like I said, definitely keep up with me on Cam's Wrestling Corner on TikTok. That's where I post all of my wrestling opinions and predictions and reviews and all of that things of that nature. Of course, right here on the network every single Monday night with me and Metalcore Mike talking about some Monday Night Raw, and then again on Wednesday night with me, Metalcore Mike, and of course the addition of Phil Khan talking about some AEW Dynamite. So keep up with us on all of those shows, and of course everything I got coming out on my personal content as well. And like I said, love and appreciate all you guys come by and checking out the stream tonight.
So make sure you're going and checking out what Cam is doing on social media and here on the network. And go follow. Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Metal Mike 714 is where you can follow me. Again, I don't do much personal stuff. I do TikTok lives once in a while for Fortnite. Most of my content creating is done here on the network on Monday night with Cam after Raw here on the Table Spot. Every Wednesday with him and Phil after Dynamite on the Boom. And every Tuesday night and right now Saturday morning on the Huddle Hub podcast. Me and John will be live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about all the news coming out of the world of football. Big trade happened today between Detroit and Houston. We're going to talk about that. And we are going to go down the salary cap line. Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about all the NFC teams and their salary cap going into free agency on March 11th. And then next week, we will be doing the AFC. And then I will be live on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cam is with me during the season at 10:30 on Sunday mornings. So come join us on the Huddle Hub podcast. Go follow us on social media right now, not only on Twitch and YouTube, but also on X, TikTok, and on Instagram at the Huddle Hub Pod. Thank you for joining us tonight here on the Table Spot. We'll see you guys on Wednesday night for the Boom. Until then, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. We'll see you guys Wednesday night on the Boom. Deuces.